this back-off camera that might have captured how the problem started. Within 11 hours since the alert was issued this morning, our cameras captured crews cleaning up the mess. A spokesperson, thank you for their attention.
Hello.
24-hour phone line where people can report those who litter, including commercial drivers. They have reports to include the contact number, vehicle type, date, time, location, as well as a description of
Is Commissioner Perkins on our committee, the safety committee?
He is,
Okay.
but he doesn't seem to be here.
Okay. I've got everybody but him then.
Is it 6:15 your time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and I'll call the roll first. Commissioner Goodrow?
Here.
Commissioner Leggett?
Here.
Commissioner Norton?
Here.
Commissioner Perkins? Commissioner Seals?
Here.
All right. 5 present and 1 absent so far. Okay. So the first item of business is the review of the sheriff's monthly report. This is the one for October, and it starts on page 25 of your packet. Welcome, Mr. Garcia. How are you?
Hey, Chief. Good evening.
I checked the population today was 102. It's 95 males and 7 females. And apparently the lowest population in October was 100. It got below 100 during November some days. So we're in good shape on that. Okay. Any comments on the sheriff's report? Any questions for Inspector Garcia? No? All right.
I just have a question for Inspector Garcia.
Yes.
What measures have we put in place that keep these numbers down compared to last year? Is it COVID protocols, or is there something else going on? And if it is COVID protocols, is it something that protocols appropriate to go forward with?
We're definitely following COVID protocols. I know that the penitentiary, the state has been housing more of their prisoners. We've actually upped the amount of federal prisoners that we are taking into the jail to try to compensate for some of the state prisoners being moved into state facilities and out of our facility. When COVID first broke out, judges were working very hard to try to keep our numbers down, to keep our population down as far as local prisoners that were coming in, and to get them out of the jails as much as possible. When COVID first broke out, they moved our numbers significantly low, trying to empty the jail out.
What are they doing? Are they doing leg monitors? Are they just not giving them time in jail, or what is it they're doing that maybe we could use to keep the numbers down in the future?
I know that one of the things that has been looked at is ankle bracelets. I know they've stepped up using the ankle bracelet program some. When we started dealing with COVID, there were a good many that were ROR'd if they were in there on local charges. They were just ROR'd.
Are we seeing I guess we haven't seen a problem with them that are ROR that are reoffending, or we've seen any backlash or any negatives to these protocols?
It seems like that the year 2020 has been an interesting year period as far as the type of calls that we've seen. We're seeing a lot more narcotics use. We've seen more overdose. We've seen more domestic violence cases. So the cause and effect, there are so many things that are going on and so many factors that have gone into this year that have made it a unique year. It's really hard to pinpoint what has caused what.
Okay.
Thank you, Inspector Garcia. All right, so we'll accept the report. And the second item on the agenda is LaGrange Fire Department, and there are several things to talk about there. That starts on page 54. With a resolution. Mr. Chairman, are we ready to go ahead and approve this resolution?
I think we are, but let me go through this to make sure I've answered all the questions from your side. And then the resolution would basically get everything started. The email that came out this afternoon was a budget of sorts. It sort of shows where the money's going to come from and how it's going to be spent. And then there was a lease agreement that is pretty simple. It's very similar to what we used in Williston. It's changed so that it fit these circumstances. Now I want to make sure that everybody understands that LaGrange has not seen this. I don't expect to have any problems because it's very simple. And Mr. Officer hasn't seen it, so I'll make, he'll probably have some comments on it, but I don't expect it to change much. Essentially, the long and short of it is that LaGrange asked for us to take it over. We are currently giving them $8,000 as a stipend for running out into the county. We have, the budget I sent out this afternoon took that $8,000 and split it up amongst utilities, $2,000, fireman stipends, which is what volunteers get. I put $1,000 in that to take care of their current ones. Vehicle maintenance of $1,400, building maintenance $500, equipment maintenance $700, insurance $2,000, fuel $400. I feel like all these are reasonable estimates. I talked to the chief. Chief Hartfield, I believe, is in the audience tonight.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
So that's sort of where the money's going. The agreement is very simple also. We will, in exchange for providing protection for LaGrange, we'll get the station for rent. It's just, they'll keep ownership of it. We will insure it. If anything breaks, we'll have a couple of options. One is to either repair it and keep using it, and if it requires the insurance, our insurance will pay for it. If it's not, and we want to continue using it, if it makes sense to, we fix it and go on. If it's something that breaks, it's our choice as to whether to fix it or not. And I've got this set up for a 5-year contract with, after that, 1-year renewals, automatic. And there's a 6-month out clause on this. So if this turns sour for either party, we can back out of it. We don't look to put any additional money into it. We're just operating it. Chief, have I pretty much summed up how we're going to do this?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. I don't, and the budget is tight. There's really no extra dollars in it. This is truly doing a favor for LaGrange. They've got in their fire department budget, they've got sirens. They've purchased some equipment for their EMS down there, and some of that may go with the firemen as they move over to us. And I believe Chief said that some of this would, but those are costs we're not going to bear. And if the town wishes to continue it, then that's their choice. But we're literally just operating it. The facility is in good shape and relatively new, as is their equipment. And both of these are purchased with grants in the last 3 or 4 years, I believe. So we've got, they're in good shape. They don't make a lot of calls, so I don't expect a lot of problems as far as maintenance. But this is where we're at with this one. If y'all got questions on it, or if there's something.
Norton does.
Okay, before I leave this on the agreement, there's one thing Chief and I talked about that I forgot to put in there, and I'm just covering the bases. I don't think there'll be any problem, is to make sure that any water we use inside the city, we have no charge for, and if we need to use that water going into the county, there won't be a charge for it either. I don't think that'll be a problem, but I'm going to include that. I need to include that with the agreement with Cindy LaGrange.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief, the men and women that are down there now, they're properly attired, I'm sure. They have turnouts and everything that they need. But as the service life comes due on those, are we responsible for their turnout equipment as well?
Yes, we would be, but they just purchased brand new turnouts for all their members on their department. And as you know, the turnouts are good for 10 years through OSHA. Right. And so we won't have to replace turnouts nor the fire truck in at least the 10-year period.
Okay, and also does that mean as we go forward now, and I'm all for this, congratulations to you in the negotiations, but going forward, are we going to need to see a budget increase? Obviously, your personnel has increased now.
I don't foresee a budget increase just for taking them in. As we get more volunteers, yes, we will have to outfit them, but that's just as same as if we get more volunteers anywhere in the county.
Right, but we're putting them back in. We're starting to put them in the loop now for replacement equipment and stuff.
That's correct.
And as I see the $8,000 that we've been giving them, we got it back, and it's paying for the things that the mayor has lined out here. Yes. And as much as I appreciate that, I just need to make sure that we're not surprised when we get a bill now for further, or when we get a request for further funds to keep them properly attired.
No, sir. No, sir, not at all.
Okay. And that's it, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Has everyone seen the agreement and the budget that came out with the email this afternoon? Does anybody need time to look for that? Okay.
And Madam Chairman, as far as Fayette County is concerned, if we need to take time doing this, I'm fine with that. I don't think the chief is, nor I are under the gun, so to speak. So if you need to review it, please
sounds
take
like
it.
everybody's satisfied with having seen it. Must have seen it this afternoon.
Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. Norton.
Yes, maybe if the mayor would let us know, the email that came out this afternoon, how much different is it than what we've already got in our packet? Is there any difference?
Well, there's nothing different. It wasn't in your packet. The only thing you got in your packet is the resolution to start it. This is sort of backup information for it.
Okay, I thought we had one in last month's full commission packet. That's why.
No,
okay.
These are new things this afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
But they've been, I think, adequately explained by the mayor in the last few minutes in pretty much detail, and Chief Hartfield. Okay, Mayor, can we do the resolution, the lease agreement, and the budget all in one motion?
If you wish to, yes, ma'am.
Would someone like to make a motion to accept or recommend?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept this, that we move this resolution through.
I'll second that, Norton.
All right, would you include the resolution, the contract with LaGrange, and the budget?
Yes, I'll do that.
And Norton seconded.
Resolution through that, including the contract that we received in our email.
Right. All right.
Norton seconded.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Goodrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Leggett,
Yes.
Commissioner Norton,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals.
Yes.
Okay. Passes, and all of those are accepted and will be recommended to the Budget Committee tonight. Let's see, the third item is fire engine purchase agreement. Page 55. Mayor, do you want to address that one?
And I'll go over the bare bones of it, and I'm going to turn it over to the chief and let him sort of fill in the gaps. Essentially what this is if you remember before last year's budget, we adopted a plan where we do 2 pumpers a year for the next, chief, you have to remind me, 3 years?
5 years, sir.
5 years?
Yes.
And that is what this is. These are 2 pumpers for a little over $600,000, $622,974. And there was, they would be ready in approximately 11 months, am I correct, Chief?
13 months, Mayor.
13 months. So it'd be in the next budget year, we would actually have to pay for these.
Yes.
There is an option we could prepay, but I don't think the benefit is there to do that. What we would like to do on the county side is first off, we need approval to move forward with this. Where I want to do this is to move money around in the different budgets to put this in so we can buy this out of our pocket. And because we've got some COVID money has come in to reimburse some of our salaries and a couple other different places. And I've got to get with Charles, and we had a short conversation today about this. I might do a budget amendment so I can place all the appropriate funds in the right place. And I want to remind you the way we fund our fire department is by using state shared funds already, so that any revenue we receive has already been shared with the city. That means it can't be property tax, and it could be sales tax. It can be like the TVA payment that we get from them because everybody gets a piece and we get our share. So if I can put together enough pieces so we can pay for this out of our pocket, I'd like to reserve that going forward. If not, we'll have to ask to borrow funds to do this, and then we'll pay for that as debt. But I'm hoping to be able to find enough funds so that we can do this out of our pocket. Again, that's going to be a next budget year when we do this, though. Actually have to pay for it. In fact, if it's it'll be next budget year. I was fixing to say it might actually go 2 budget years, but it'll be next budget year. Chief, anything?
Do you need us to vote on this agreement, purchase agreement tonight?
The agreement is literally just the agreement to purchase the pumpers. I would not worry too much about the language in it because that essentially says how it's going to be delivered and who's going to pay what. But the authority to go ahead and move forward with this purchase is what I need, or to discuss it further. So that's what.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Leggett.
I move for us to proceed and on the purchase on these 2 pumpers. And one thing, Mr. Mayor, the effective date at the bottom of the paper that was in our packet is 2017. You'll need to correct that.
Chief,
I'm sure they took an old contract and just changed the numbers, but
They did, Commissioner. This contract was developed in 2017, and it was actually the same exact contract for the last 2 pumpers purchased. It had 2017, and when I brought this to their attention, this is their generalized contract that was developed that day, and that's what they utilized. That's the date for the contract.
okay, that's fine. I just felt like that we probably need to correct that for our own purposes, but my motion still stands to move forward.
Goodrow seconds the motion.
Commissioner Goodrow, how do you vote on this?
Yay.
Commissioner Leggett,
Yes.
Commissioner Norton,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals. Commissioner Seals,
Yes.
Motion passes. And the next is a budget amendment 101 found on page 61 of the packet. Appears there's no change in the fund balance on this, but this has to do with some more fire equipment. Chief Hartfield, would you tell us what this is?
Yes, ma'am. We found a 2015 Chevy 2500 4x4 HD. We're needing a squad at Station 11, and I've always been trying to find ways to get newer trucks, like brush trucks, without coming to the commission for extra money. We were able to sell several of the older pumpers that were out of date and not certified. And again, we're able to do that. And I want to move this money around to purchase this truck, but we have 6 more vehicles that are older and 3 pumpers that did not test what they're supposed to do that we're going to get rid of, that will put that money back in my line items and fund balance for that.
All right. Is there a motion to recommend this budget amendment?
Norton, so moved.
Goodrow, second.
All right. Please vote. Commissioner Goodrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Leggett,
Yes.
Commissioner Norton,
Yes.
Commissioner Seals.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes.
what in our packet, was this resolution copied twice inadvertently?
Yes, sir.
60.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Front and back of the page, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one more item that was added this afternoon in an email, in the same email with all the LaGrange matters. And this one relates to the Sheriff's Department and a significant amount of CARES Act money. Mr. Chairman, would you explain what this is?
Yes, ma'am. This is some CARES Act money we've got received from the states. We applied for it and received it. It doesn't really have any strings attached to it. We're putting it into Fund 171. Let me make sure. Yeah, Fund 171. We did not have anything budgeted for the jail study, exactly where it was going to be coming from. So I want to take the appropriate amount, that $31,975, and use it to pay for the Justice Complex study, the one they're doing on the future of where to build stuff.
Okay. All right. Is there any question about this? Comments? Does someone have a motion?
Leggett moves to move this forward to the budget with the recommendation.
Goodrow, second.
All right. Commissioner Goodrow.
Madam Chair.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'd like to, the record reflect that Commissioner Perkins is now with us for your roll call vote.
Right. Commissioner Perkins, did you hear what we were discussing?
I heard most of it.
All right. Commissioner Goodrow, are you ready to vote?
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Leggett,
Yes.
Commissioner Norton,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
and Commissioner Seals.
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Is there anything else that you know of, Mr. Chairman?
I'm looking around to make sure. I think that's it for
Madam Chairman.
All right. What
Madam
about
Chairman.
members of the committee? Commissioner Leggett?
Yes. I'd just like to, I've been here about 10 years now, and I want to really commend the fire chief and even the previous fire chiefs, but the equipment that we have been, as a full commission, been able to acquire for our volunteer fire department. I hope the volunteers can see how much we appreciate them, and they do a fantastic job for us. And, you know, there's one thing about it is if we keep them in good equipment, we protect them and at the same time protect our citizens. And it goes without a lot of acknowledgement. We do the same thing over in the ambulances. We've got a great director. We've got a great fire chief. And I just don't think that we give them the credit that they really have earned all the time. We take it for granted, but they do a fantastic job. Thank you.
I second that. I'm sure everyone else does too.
Absolutely.
We have a roll call vote on that?
Are you serious? You want to?
No.
All right.
Who's going to say no to that?
If there's no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Norton.
Thank you.